Alright guys, welcome back to the HPI Savage X 4.6 review. What I was saying last time was that I got a new radio. The first one I had got destroyed. Cousins got a hold of it and they dropped it and broke the antenna off of it. And I was like, I'm not going to fix it, I'm just going to buy a new antenna. I got the DX2E controller. It's a good controller. I prefer a 3-channel, but this one works for me. The radio that comes with it is actually pretty good. People say it's bad. It's actually pretty decent. I always recommend upgrading RTR radios, unless it's like a cheap car, then stick with it. I went with the DX2E because I like the DX3E with all the controls on top, and it's real comfortable to hold. But yeah, so what you're definitely going to want to get right out of the box is a new receiver pack and a new 3-channel receiver. It comes with a glow igniter. As I was saying in the last video, it comes with a C-cell. A battery exploded in my original one, so it melted the thing down. If that happens to yours, just go ahead and get the LiPo one. Or if you're really on a budget, this one works good for the price. You only have to buy batteries, which kind of makes it equal this. So $10 plus $5 for batteries. It's another $5-10 for this. Just go with this one. Yeah, comes with, as I was saying in the last video, these cross wrenches cross out or strip out really easily. Even this one. This one's good for getting you started off with, but I always recommend getting one of the ones where you can actually thread the glow plugs in. This one looks like you can, but there's no threads in it. I don't know if you can see it, but there's threads in that one. Yeah, you definitely want to upgrade your tool, but you don't have to. I did. I'm running O'Donnell 20%. I wanted 25%, but this is what my hobby shop had, and I'm so happy I didn't get 25% because my friend had 25% and his car just didn't run for anything, and I was the one who helped them break it in. So 20% does it. It's completely your choice. If you have a company like HPI, comes with a fuel bottle. It's a 250cc bottle, but it gets you started. You get about a tank and another little bit of a tank. So if you're going to be running, just fill it up, fill the tank up full, and just fill the rest of that up after you fill the tank up. That cost me about $27. My hobby sounds awesome. I've always seen them $30 more. You get a few spare parts with the car. You don't get anything crazy. The one thing that really drew my attention when I unboxed the car was it came with 14mm hex adapters. Yeah, it's a 17mm now, and it comes with the 14mm hexes. These are just a bunch of spare parts that I got on a part cheat key. You get shock clips because they aren't threaded, but they are clip style, not threaded. Alright, back to the truck. Let me really cover everything that's on the truck, because I kind of talked about everything you get with the car. You get this cool interlocking system where you turn it one way, you turn it this way to get this piece to go on, and then after you have that piece on, you turn it back and forth on the car to get this piece to go on. That was kind of hard to see, I know, but whatever. Let me get a light on us real quick. Bang. A little bit more. There we go. There's a light. The engine is a HPI 4.6 engine. HPI Savage X 4.6. That's the size of the engine. It's got a gray anodized, like a gunmetal polished, or gunmetal anodized head with a black block and just a silver header. The exhaust is actually really nice. It is loud, so if you live in a neighborhood, it might not be the greatest car, but this exhaust definitely makes some power. After you break it in, I recommend after you break it in, and after like 3 to 5 tanks after you break it in, take some sandpaper and sand out the inside of the exhaust. It really helps it start and stay running. I put a ram air filter on it, or not really a ram air filter, but something to stick out the hood so it gets a bit better airflow. Probably won't make a whole bunch of difference. The steering servo and the throttle servo are okay. The one thing you have to do with this car is you have to tighten up the throttle servo, or not the throttle servo, but the servo saver. You see them all the time. They have the spring and the little threaded collar. It's kind of like a shock, but backwards. Just you have to tighten that almost all the way down to get any steering after about a tank of driving. The plastic spur gear is alright. Just unmesh it when just make sure the gears aren't touching when you break it in. You'll wheel strip a gear. The plastic parts are all good. Weak spot is these shock shafts. I broke them once, but it was a really hard hit. It was right where the threads thread into the eyelet on the bottom. It has a 160cc, 150cc fuel tank, I think. Somewhere around there. It holds it to drink pretty good. You probably get 10 to 15 minutes on a tank, maybe less, maybe more, depending on weather and your tune and the age of your engine. What else can I say? It's got all-time four-wheel drive, no center diff. Instead, it's got a 2-speed transmission. There are reverse options for it. Out of the box, it does not have reverse. The wheels are kind of cool on this thing. As you can see, they're not junky, and the tires for RTR specs are really good. I mean, I get endless grip on-road and off-road, and I drive on-road a lot just to get some speed runs in and get tuned, and I still have no wear. I mean, you can see they're used, but there's not a whole lot of wear on them. They're still pretty good. It's got a good air filter on it. I really like the air filter compared to Traxxas little twisty thing on it. The front and the back suspension systems are pretty much all the same. The A-arms, the shock towers, and the differentials are all the same. You can even put the front bumper on the rear and the rear bumper on the front. That's how universal all the parts are to the car. A-arms are mirrored left to right. So you can't put a right one on the left one. You can't put a left one on the right one. That's pretty standard with all RC cars. The body mounts on front and back are exactly the same. They're exactly the same body mount, body post, whatever you want to call them. It's got 4 shocks all around. The XL has 8 shocks, and the XL Octane has 4 shocks. It's got twin vertical plate chassis system. The engine sits on a horizontal plate that threads into the sides and in the back or on the transmission. The steering system is a bit messed up. You gotta tighten a few things down before you drive it. You can adjust your rear toe, but not your rear camber. It's all fixed. Same story in the front. You can adjust your toe, but you can't adjust your camber. Integy makes adjustable camber links, and there's so many more companies that make adjustable links for it. It's got a handy-dandy little holder / roll bar thing. I'm planning on getting an Integy roll cage, just so if my body goes bad, I don't have to get a new one. The stock body's pretty good. It doesn't crack real easy, but the car flips over. Like, it'll smack the ground, and I just threw something on the ground. It'll smack the ground in the back, so all of them get kind of cracked up in the back. My body got melted. I had an acetone spill when I was cleaning up paint, and it completely melted the whole front end of the car. It's just a goop, and yeah. One thing you're going to have to buy is afterburn oil. You don't have to, but I 100% recommend it. You almost always have to have it, but it's not mandatory. Just make sure there's no fuel in your engine, and you'll probably still get corrosion in there. Just make sure you pull the pull starter every now and then. But it's one of those things that are almost mandatory. I'm not going to call it mandatory because there's a lot of people who don't use it. My friend didn't use it, and his engine was always fine, but I don't want to take the risk. It's got a dual fiberglass disc brake. I said that in the last one. You want to make sure you clean that off after every single run. I take a Scotch-Brite pad or a piece of sand, very, very lightly take a piece of sandpaper. Any grit will do. Here's one of the mods you want to do right out of the box. You want to take some of your fuel line. Make sure you have enough for the car first. You don't want to take your fuel line and then cut it, and then take some fuel line and cut it just barely longer than the spring that's on there, and then you'll have endless braking. Like, the thing will flip on any surface, other than ice and very, very slick surfaces, obviously. But yeah. What else did the car have? It's got a slide carburetor, but that's really kind of standard now. 2-speed transmission, no reverse. They rate it at 50 miles an hour. I believe it goes 60 on a good day. I mean, it's the guy up at Hobbytown says it's not going to be faster than electric, but this thing is faster than any car I've ever had. This thing is actually literally a monster truck. That's all I have to say about it, guys. This video is going to be too long to upload from my phone, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is my second video on this channel now. This is RC Conference Room signing out. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please subscribe.